Paltrocast. How's your day going aside from having to do media?
Really good. I've been nursing a new car. Just got into my garage. Got a car from Florida, an old 82 pickup Ford. So I've been nursing that today and just been a happy boy.
Have you always been a car guy, or this is a newer hobby for you?
I don't know. I guess every boy are born liking, to like cars, but they're more fun to be around when you can actually afford one.
Well, you can afford one because of the Asinhell new record, I'm sure, and that's what we were set up to talk about. Now, did any of the material that you wrote for this record start off as Volbeat material?
Absolutely not. There's not a single riff on this album that was supposed to be for Volbeat. This is a totally different animal. So there's no leftovers for anything. This is from day one meant to be Asinhell.
Wow. And did you know from the start that Metal Blade was going to be the record company putting out the record?
No, because the whole idea was actually for me to release it by myself. I was just about to register my own label, and together with Q Prime, my management that I also use in Volbeat, and we were just about to set up the whole thing for us to release it by ourselves. But then they gave me a call and told me that Brian Slagle, legendary Brian Slagle from legendary Metal Blade, wanted to release it, and that was definitely a dream come true because, I remember back in the days tape trading with my old band Dominus and tried to get a record deal. And when we finally got the deal, the vinyl was not really a hot thing. The CD was a new thing. So my old band Dominus never got released on vinyl. So I'm very proud that we're now on Metal Blade and there will be vinyls out very soon.
Got it. Did you have any commercial expectations for this album? Because obviously it's a passion project based on your influences and something you want to do. But in the back of your mind, was there ever, oh, there has to be a single on this release?
No way. No. What is a single in death metal? It's of course, you release one song at the time, these awful modern days. And I guess you call those singles, but no, with death metal, it just sounds wrong, doesn't it? That we have a single out. But I know how it works these modern days. You put 2 or 3 record songs out before release. And that's just the way you do it. Back in the days, it was just the whole album at one time, or maybe you will be releasing an EP or something like that. But I don't know. I have never thought about singles. I don't see any singles. That's not how I look at it.
Well, the reason I would bring up a single is you just mentioned Q Prime, which I have always thought is one of the smartest management companies there is. When I was backstage at a Disturbed concert a couple of weeks ago, and I saw Cliff, and I went, "Hey, can I get a photo?" I didn't bother any members of Disturbed for the photo. I bothered Cliff for the photo. And okay. Cliff and the success that him and Peter and the Q Prime people have had over the years is knowing, let's find the most commercial thing about not commercial music. So I didn't know if Q Prime went, by the way, we can get this added to radio.
We never thought about that. The thing was, Q Prime totally supported my idea to form this band, and they wanted to help me out. They know how things works, and hooking up with Brian Slagle from Metal Blade, they are the bosses about taking the decisions how they want to promote the album. The only thing that I know is that we don't want to overhype it or overexposure it or anything. It is a death metal release, which is underground music style. So don't let it be anything it's not, and it has nothing to do with Volbeat or anything else. I'm pretty sure, I put all my trust and respect in Q Prime and Metal Blade to do the right thing.
So when it comes to you, following your discography, hearing the Jimmy Webb cover that you sang on, your influences are all over the place in a good way. Now, with your musical evolution, were you into top 40 or softer hard rock before death metal, or did somehow death metal came first?
I guess like everybody, young kids, you're pretty much listening to what your parents are listening to. I discovered classic heavy metal when I was 10. I discovered the more extreme part of metal when I was 13. But before all that, it was basically the 50s music. That was the thing that I was really into because my parents was constantly playing it at home. So I grew up with a lot of 50s music. So that was basically what I was stuck to until I discovered Black Sabbath and, of course, Iron Maiden, Dio, and the list goes on of those old classic heavy metal bands. And, then when I was 13, I discovered the more extreme bands like Bathory and Venom, Possessed, Celtic Frost, and later on Death and Autopsy, and the list goes on. And that's a new bubble jumping into. It was pure excitement, but I always was very, even though that I was very dedicated to the metal music, I didn't forget all the music that I was growing up with, which was basically the 50s music. And that's why I need to go on that adventure that became Volbeat, because suddenly I was having more experience writing songs with more structure, and that was a journey that I needed. Yeah, we all know that the great results of Volbeat, it became a huge success and is still a very huge success that I'm very proud of, where we combine all these different styles that are not allowed in death metal. Then you will be hanged on the upside down cross.
Well, this is a weird name check, but I'm friendly with Tim Christensen from Dizzy Miss Lizzy, and his career reminds me of yours in that he really wants to do metal, but at the same time, people think of him for the pop or the ballads at the same time. So it's great to see that you were able to just take a break from what Volbeat might have been expected to do and do an artistic endeavor like this. Did you have anyone in management or anyone go, no, don't do this. Take some time off, release it under a different name?
Absolutely not. Everybody around me has been very supportive of what I wanted to do, and that goes with everything that I do in Volbeat and now in Asinhell or anything. I got great people around me who have the same desire for the things that I'm doing in my life. So I can only be very thankful and humble about having great people around me who are supporting me.
I'm really glad to hear that. And how's your throat holding up? I heard a rumor that you were having surgery in the near future.
Yeah, I'm having operation on the 9th of October.
Sorry.
It's an operation I've been through before. This one is just a little bit bigger, and it's going to take some time to get back in vocal shape. So Volbeat is not playing next year. I'll use a lot of time to get my voice back after the operation, and but at the same time, I'll actually be writing a new Volbeat album. So hopefully later next year, I could put down the vocals for the next Volbeat album. But in the meantime, I will go out and play shows with Asinhell.
Wow. Okay. Does this mean that you might have to change your vocal approach where you become one of those guys that starts doing the vocal warm downs after the show?
I do warm up before a show, but there's no way I'm going to use my voice after a show. So hopefully, I'm very optimistic about the whole thing. As I said, I tried it before, and I got good people around me. Got a great coach in Melissa Cross, who's been helping out a lot of singers. She helped me out again to get my voice back in shape after the operation. So I like to stay positive, and I'm pretty sure that everything's going to be all right.
And hopefully you're going to get some downtime though towards the end of the year because let's face it, the holiday seasons when you get to eat the good food, have the good drinks, spend time with family, catch up with people, and then find that inspiration to write that Volbeat record.
Yeah, I'm always inspired. I always have material to pick up. I have material for the next Volbeat album that we can already work on. I even have material for the next Asinhell album. So I'm always inspired. It's just I just need to find the time to open up for all the ideas and jump into that bubble.
Well, I have two quick questions for you, and then I'll let you go. And hopefully, these are not Darren. These are stupid question responses out of you. But the first one is, as an obsessed Van Halen fan, I like to know where Van Halen was on the influence spectrum for you, because I know that Van Halen was not one of the biggest bands in Denmark, but as a result of touring around with American bands for so many years, I'm sure that you've heard Running with the Devil played before bands get to the stage for years and years.
I got to be quite honest here. I do have all the tons of respect for any bands out there, including Van Halen, but I don't have a Van Halen record, and I don't listen to Van Halen. But I do have a lot of American friends. They all listen to Van Halen. And of course, I also have European friends who listen to Van Halen, but I'm not quite there yet.
So you confirm my theory that Van Halen is more of an American and a Japanese thing than a Danish thing.
I don't know. I don't know if I should say anything about that. I can only say that I have the deepest respect. It's it's an iconic, historic band. Lots of respect, but I must just admit that I don't have any records of Van Halen. I'm sorry.
No sorries. Thank you for being honest and being into heavy music all these years and spotlighting all that through Asinhell. And the last question before I let you go, do you have a TV recommendation to pass along? Because every time the wife and I start a new show, we watch it in 4 days and we go, what's next? So why not ask somebody like yourself who's smart and has great taste?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like I never really watch television, to be quite honest. I do stream some series now and then I will watch an episode or two before bedtime. But actually, at the moment, I'm not watching anything.
So the new car is getting all the attention.
You know what? When the kids are being picked up from school and kindergarten, they're the bosses. So whatever they want to see on television, that's what I'm watching. And when it's time for bedtime, I'm so tired that I'll rather just sit down and read a new boxing magazine or something like that.
Wow. Okay. Well, Michael, thank you for the many years of great music. Looking forward to seeing you live in New York in the very near future. And just thank you for being an original voice in metal for all these years.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Paltrocast.